Honorable Bombay, President of the IMF, senior officers from all the services, and more so from the shipping industry. I see a large number of naval officers, and I welcome their presence because I think this has become more or less like a naval gathering, not just the maritime view and not just the IMF. Welcome to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to speak on a subject which I think is very vital for India. This has been going on for a long time, and I must admit that over the years, we have been in the Navy doing a lot of which all of us are very proud of. In fact, if you look at what the Navy has achieved and compare it to the other two services, you will find that the other two services are still way behind us. This became possible only because of the vision of a few people of the first generation in the Navy. I'll talk about that later. Also, I am not going to go into any details of the shipbuilding and about the Navy because I think there are going to be talking about that. But I will give you an overview of what we are doing and how the Navy should work. Next slide. Yeah, we go back so nearly 5,000 years. And I think it was the Navy of that time that had the vision to think big. The fact that we started building our own shipyards, and to my mind, even today, if you look at the size of the shipyard which was built, 200 meters, it was one of the biggest shipyards built. And it made sure that it had adjustable compartments so that 6 ships could be built simultaneously, and depending on how you were building them, you could remove one or the other and carry it. Also, the wooden doors were such that they could be easily removed, and they were kept in place with flags. So these are some of the things that we did. And next slide. Next. After this civilization, there was a lot of shipbuilding and a lot of people in India which looked after sea. I've only listed the people here. And this seaborne activity continued for a very long time. It is just sad that when the ships became of steel, the engines came in, and other facilities, and it was no longer the sailing ships. In the old days, it was either sailing ships or even people with oars, 40 people moving a ship at slow speed, or with sails. But when the engines came in and the machinery came in, somehow we got it. Next. I have given a little detail of the period from where we really got left behind. I will not cover it in details because it is there. It gives you exactly what happened from the 1600s when ships started coming, how the Indian Navy's Marine was formed at that time, although we were not part of India in the true sense, we were practically under the British at that time. And then we became Her Majesty's Indian Navy ship in 1858. And since then, you will see the progress that has been made. And our final thing was becoming the Royal Indian Navy in 1934, after which a lot of officers took part in the World War. In fact, my father was a lecturer in Lucknow when he was called upon to join the Navy. So in 42, he joined the Navy and went to sea but because he used to wear glasses, he was given the supply branch. He was a very seasick man, and I don't know how he managed it at sea, but he did. Because of him, it's surprising, but my childhood was spent in Vizag, Bombay, and Kochi. I don't have memories of that because I was just 2 and 3 years old, but that is where I grew up as a. I just as an aside, after all this, I wanted to join the Navy and naval aviation in particular. And because for some reason I was always getting 98% in maths and science, my father insisted that I should be an engineer. So he made me do engineering, started my engineering, and without telling him, I appeared for the NDA exam. And when I got selected, I just told him I'm going. And that is how I joined the Navy. And I'm glad that I not only joined the Navy, another small incident I think I must tell you is that when I did this, and I joined the Navy because of my marks, they gave me the engineering branch. When they gave me the engineering branch, I told the senior officer of the Navy in India, sir, I want to leave. He said, you spent so much time now, you'll have to pay billions. I said, sir, I don't mind, I will pay it in my own time, but I want to leave. Then he said, why do you want to leave? I said, I wanted to join aviation and then will be engineer. He said, no, engineers are also aviation. I said, no. I believe they are, but I'm not going to do that. I want to leave. You won't believe it. In 2 days, my branch was changed from, in India itself, from engineering to flight, aviation. So that's another side that I continue to next time. Okay. The next one. Yeah. I will now give a brief on what I want to say. Basically, the important aspects that relate to how a Navy grows and how we become what we are. As I mentioned, we are perhaps the only service among three which is so advanced. And I'm very proud that our thinkers, our thought process next to it. They planned this out right from more or less our independence. And they've set up the various things, and this is the genesis which has led to what we are today. Next slide. A little later, the maritime vision has come up, for which I think there are enough people who are going to talk about it, so I will not cover that in detail. Which envisages a further 10-year plan for vision, a new vision. And I'm grateful that today, from what we were, we used to import a lot of items. In fact, most of our ships were totally imported. And I'll cover that a little later. Next. These are the shipbuilding yards that help us to build ships. And as you will see today, not only these, there are a number of other yards, smaller yards, which are supplying items, practically built pieces of equipment to other yards, and they're being transported by ship and by road and by rail. The vision of our forefathers is very important. When we first started, it was decided that we must build our own ships and get the Navy to become self-sufficient. If we hadn't done that, we would not be where we are. In fact, if you go to the first ship which was built, this was in collaboration with England. And when this was built, a couple of years after it was built, Admiral Gorshkov from the Russian Navy visited the ship because we wanted to show him that we have built a ship. So he looked at the ship, and just before he was leaving, the Admiral from the Western Command was with him. He says, Admiral, is this a warship? So the Admiral was surprised. He said, you've got just one gun and nothing else, and just a helicopter which is just about land, and the helicopter is only for search and rescue. So what is the warship part of this? At that time, rather than getting discouraged, That is the time that the Navy decided, okay, he's taunted us, let us show him what we can do. And today, I'm fortunate that 3 days before, or a week before I spoke, 3 ships have got in the Navy. Indian Navy has been in the news for 3 ships. Vikrant was commissioned, Satpura, and also I've just given you a brief detail of the Vikrant when she's commissioned. Continue, please. And the equipment that is going to be fitted up, which I think is important for us to see that 80% of this equipment is made in India. They're still importing. There has been some restriction because of the policies that the Navy cannot import. But touch wood, that restriction is not on the shipyards. So the shipyards are in a position to import some of the items for us and fit them. The other very big thing that we have done is our engineers and our electrical people and our design people have designed a lot of equipment which is totally new. We borrowed it, we built it, but whatever is the new equipment is designed by us. And today, I think, as far as the Indian Navy is concerned, we can compete with any navy in the world for our equipment, for our ships, for our caliber, and of course, that is known for our manpower. We've done wonders, and I'm so grateful that this is happening. This is the latest ship. One of our latest. And see the kind of equipment that is being fitted on board. Practically everything, the towed arrays, sonar has been made in Cochin. That was one of the first sonars in the world which has been recognized as the best in the world. And that was built nearly 20 years ago and is now being fitted on ships. This is a IDRW report again on the 12th September. So as I said, 3 incidents in the 12th of September have made my lecture more relevant for the time. And these are the new ships that we are going to be building and which are likely to be sanctioned in the near future. That is the kind of shipbuilding that we are doing. And the only thing in this, regrettably, which is something that should have happened years ago, I went to USSR to have a look at our carrier to buy, which we finally got as Trincomalee first. And we went there, that carrier was being given to us for 600 million rupees, equivalent of 600 million. 600 crore rupees. I came back and submitted the full proposal to get that going. Fortunately, the system that was going, it didn't work. And we said, no, we don't have that money. And also the carrier is old and we won't. Yet, when eventually we got Vikramaditya, it has been modified. And though we paid much more, we put in a lot of our own equipment. And I think I'm glad that we delayed it and didn't listen to what I had to say. We paid a lot more, but that was all right. That doesn't matter. And now, as we have, next please. Okay. As I mentioned, we've come to Vikrant, and hopefully, what I was mentioning also is that although the first Vikrant has been ordered, I think 4 years ago we should have ordered the second. Now, by the time the government sanction comes, Cochin Shipyard will have so many other things to do that we will miss out. And I personally believe that we need at least 3 carriers in India. One for the Bay of Bengal, one for the Arabian Sea, and one totally for using as a standby so that whenever there's a requirement, and carrier ships have to undergo refit, so there would be one under trial. So minimum of 3 carriers are required. And I hope the government sanctions the second one soon. Because even Vikramaditya now, over the years, it's an old ship and it will take some time. These are some of the initiatives that we need. And this is what I'm sure that the speakers will talk about. Our skills in welding and fitting, skills in manpower, R&D infrastructure, which till recently was quite poor. I'm glad that the Director of Naval Designs has broadened this, and also in conjunction with the civil dockyards, We have done a lot of work, and all this is making. The other weak area was, and I'm glad that that is also improving, is that the suppliers were not in a very good status. But today, we are not only getting them to build, we are also making sure that they build in places far away and supply to a shipyard 200 miles and even 400 miles. So practically the whole block is ready and it is just put on the ship and with the wiring, everything being done. Similarly, I was very happy to learn from LLT that they are doing the same in their yard. And they are even completing the wiring, the piping, and everything. And when they put it in place, they just have to make the connections of the two ends. And that is why they are not only making them faster, but making them cheaper. And I'm so glad that when you talk about it, we hear some more about it. These are some of the problem areas I feel that we have to overcome. I've been told last night that some have been overcome, but I think the one or two areas which are still not overcome is what is the difference between a government-owned yard and a civil yard. A government-owned yard can do nothing. By the time the new sanction or the change comes in, it takes 3 months. The shipyard has a meeting and the next morning the change is implemented and they go ahead. They're also allowed to import without a problem. Whereas, as far as we are concerned, import has become a big problem. To get an import clearance takes us 6 months. So these are some areas where we still need to improve tremendously. We are not. Similarly, the duty for a ship built in India is much higher than a shipbuilder. Whereas a person from abroad, if he takes the same ship abroad, he doesn't pay. So these are some areas which I think we need to improve, and that's why it's covered. This is what I've just covered. And next. Even today, as far as the maritime trade is concerned, we have, India, I think, has only 2% of it. Yes. We have the capability now. And it was nice to hear that we are building ships for other countries. If we are doing that, we need to build that and we need to go for it. Here I've not spoken at all of the merchant navy because there are enough speakers talking about it. But I think some of our merchant yards have produced quite a lot of ships. But there again, I think speed is faster. There's another slide which I've covered in some detail, where we must change our policy of taxation totally to make shipbuilding a totally competitive yard, not because India needs them, but because we should export all our ships. The more we export, the more money we will earn, and the better we will get from that. We are 2%, I think we get up to slightly higher, 10 to begin with, and maybe a little higher. Right? These are the ships of the Indian Navy today, which you can compare with any other navy. There are only 5 navies in the world which have aircraft carriers and have built an aircraft. Our submarines are recognized as one of them. They have slowly started building submarines that are totally indigenous. Components are indigenous, our equipment is indigenous, and we have made sure that these are the kinds. I know some of these things we cannot export because they are military hardware, but we've also built OPVs and smaller boats which we've been given to other countries which don't have the kind of equipment. Just probably one small gun so that they are used for the other purposes. And the last slide to show you the control that the Indian Navy today enjoys. This is a list of the ships and naval stations in the Indian Ocean. And if you see the entire Indian Ocean, you can see what the Indian Navy can command. There are our neighbors, but I don't think you can identify any of them perhaps other than Australia, which is quite small, which has ships that are anywhere close to what we do. Even at one time, we were scared of Pakistan, but today Pakistan is nowhere on the horizon as far as. Thank you very much. I thought I'd give you an overview.